plus several food trucks. A new kids area includes decorating cookies with Kretschmars and artsy doodle crafts. The fun also includes axe throwing, a local brewery, and fireworks at 8:30, plus music from Casanova and the D-Buzz. Don't miss Beaver Light Up Festival November 28th, presented by Beaver Super, Dan Hoffman State Farm, and Shell Polymers, with fireworks sponsored by Seegers Jewelers. Back at Beaver County Radio, Scott Tatey here. It is 9:10 on this Wednesday morning. Thank you for spending time with us. We are joined in studio by Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy. Everything taken care of Facebook-wise. We are streaming this live. Dale, usually you have props and tools and things you bring with us. We always look forward to that. What's cooking today? Do we need to get one of our interns in here to do some stretching for you or what? It's me. Nobody told me that.
Scott, you're the guy. So thanks for joining us today. Today we're talking about tips and tricks for the holiday, having a healthy holiday season, some common pitfalls and how to avoid them. So basically, it's travel season we're getting into here, and we're looking at things that you can do to have a healthy and happy holiday season with your travels and after your travels and things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I did bring some props today, so so for those that are watching on Facebook Live, they can enjoy seeing what props I brought in today. If you're just listening on the radio, that's fine too. Listen along, and we'll take you along with what we're going to talk about today.
And Thanksgiving season. First of all, let's start with that. Any tips for people? It's the busiest travel time of the year. A lot of people getting in their cars, doing some driving, heading out. Is that a thing? If you're doing a 4-hour, 5-hour drive, do you have any recommendations how often you should get out and stretch, or any stretching you can do while you're driving?
Absolutely. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to start with talking about the 3 heavy hitters, which are not really physical therapy related, but this is just an educational component that I like to share with people when we talk about traveling. The 3 heavy hitters for safe travel are sleep, hydration, and nutrition. And it's kind of related to the medical field because it affects everything that you do. So getting proper sleep is one of the number one things and one of the number one difficulties with people that travel that gets in the way. So you lose sleep in preparing for your travels. You might be anxious or stressed about your travel plans, and you're losing sleep because of that. You might lose sleep on doing your travel destination, whether you're flying in an airplane or driving in a car for long periods of time. And your sleep can be interrupted wherever your destination is, wherever you're staying. And we're going to talk about that too. You're sleeping in, a foreign bed that you're not used to, maybe a hotel or maybe a family's house. Maybe it's a pull-out couch. Maybe it's just a couch. So all these things can affect your sleep. So consider, getting as much sleep as you can in preparing for your journey. And we're going to talk about some helpful hints so you can get good night's sleep when you end up at your destination, and things you can avoid for things that develop on sleeping on a couch or a pull-out bed, low back pain being one of those number one things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit during today's show. Hydration's important. Staying well hydrated, and a lot of people will avoid drinking water because they want to avoid their bathroom breaks. So I've talked to a lot of older people that, won't hydrate as much because they know if they hydrate, they're going to be stopping every hour on the turnpike. And so they actually end up dehydrating themselves and end up in, problems because they're dehydrating themselves and not drinking enough water during their travel. So hydration is important. Make sure it's, a water-based drink, not a caffeinated drink like, your coffee and your sodas and things like that. You want to limit your alcohol consumption because that can affect your sleep as well as your hydration. So drinking a lot of caffeinated drinks, your coffees, your sodas, alcoholic drinks can affect your hydration levels as well. So make sure you're balancing things out and drinking enough water for your holiday season. And then we talk about sleep, hydration. We talk about nutrition too. So when you're driving, you're hitting a rest stop, and your options are your fast food chains. So I always like to bring along a healthy snack, which I brought today. I brought an apple and even like a healthy granola bar. That's a better choice than a greasy fast food cheeseburger or something like that. So, bring some healthy snacks with you so you can balance out what your nutritional value is when you're driving, when you're traveling. Because not having good nutrition can affect your body's ability to self-heal and things like that. So sleep, hydration, nutrition are the three first heavy hitters that we're discussing today. Before we get into more of the physical components of things, which I did bring a bag of tricks to talk about today with us too.
Well, how about nutrition? We're thinking Thanksgiving. You always hear about turkey, the tryptophan and whatever it has in it that makes you sleepy. Is that true? First of all, and
you know what? I've heard multiple things about that. I've heard it debunked. I've heard it's true. I've heard it's not true. But I think when you just eat a lot, you're filling your body up. You tend to, your blood supply starts, going to, starts getting sleepy and things like that. So it's a common thing we all feel. So what actually causes it, I'm not sure. But it's certainly something that happens. But that's a good point you bring up, because when you are sleepy, and it may be because of the lack of sleep, it could be because of a big meal you had, research shows that you actually have a higher risk of injury when you're fatigued or tired. So I tell my patients, especially my older patients, that might already be a fall risk. If they are traveling, they need to be careful about that if they're losing sleep or sleep deprived, because that increases your risk of falls. It increases your risk of having some kind of an injury because of a fall. If you are sleep deprived, you're not getting a good night's sleep, you might see a decrease, worsening of your balance and things like that. So that's something to be cautious of and be aware of in your travels as well.
It's also a busy time of year, people flying. What advice for anyone flying any time of the year? You're talking about hydration, the importance of that, and you're sitting in the seats. It's very uncomfortable. You're crowded in. Do you recommend anything? Is there ways to stretch out, or how do you prepare for a flight?
Yeah, so there's a number of different things that we talk about with flying, and we're going to talk about a couple different things with it today, actually. One is our luggage, and how to properly carry and stow your luggage, because you're lifting something heavy that you're not used to lifting. You're putting it in and out of the car. You're carrying it through your house. You have to stow it away when you're flying. If you're driving, you're stowing it in and out of your back of your car. And sometimes that's multiple times in a trip. Say for example, if you're driving a far distance, if you're driving to Florida, you're going to probably take a stop in between. So you're loading your luggage in and out to leave. You're loading it in and out, in your hotel between destinations. And then when you get your final destination, you're loading in and out. So within a 2-day course of period of time, you might be lifting a 50-pound bag that you're not used to lifting that much weight. Maybe you're used to lifting, a basket of laundry or something that, 10 or 15 pounds, but you're not used to lifting 50 pounds. So we're going to have a demonstration a little bit later in the show on how to properly lift your luggage, how to properly stow it away. And I brought a bag of luggage, and inside this bag of luggage, I have a lot of tips and tricks we're going to talk about today. Let me go ahead and let's talk about, before I get that out, let's talk about, sleeping. So when you are going on vacation, you're sleeping in a hotel room, you're sleeping in someone else's house, maybe they have a guest bed, maybe they have a pull couch, maybe it's a couch, but I guarantee it's going to be nothing like what you're used to. So your body has to adapt and change really quickly to that new surface. And that can be a big change. And I recognize that myself, and my family knows that I can't, I have trouble if I'm going to be sleeping on a softer than my normal bed surface. I'm going to wake up with back issues. If number one, I'm sleeping on a surface that's not normal for me, but I have 3 go-to exercises that I do to help prevent low back pain. So we're going to demonstrate those today, and I'm going to teach you 3 go-to back exercises you can do if you're sleeping on a bed that's not your normal bed. Because whether it's a harder surface or a softer surface, your body is going to know it, and it's going to try to adapt and compensate. But it's a very easy thing to wake up with low back pain after sleeping on a surface that's not your home surface.
Those pull-out mattresses, I swear there's always a spring there.
There's always a bar or a spring poking in your back, and you end up trying to be on just one, get away from it, get on one side of the bed, you end up almost sleeping on the floor. I mean, I've done that in the past where I pretty much be better off on the floor than on one of those pull-out couches. So, but I have 3 go-to exercises that I do that help me out that we're gonna demonstrate today. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But let me go ahead and pull out my my luggage bag here, and I'll start pulling out some things that we're going to talk about today.
Sure, please do.
So the first thing I'm going to talk about real quick is, everyone knows this right now, but Scott, you and I grew up in an age where they did not have wheels on furniture or on the luggage, right?
So hard to believe it. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it took 6,000 years from when they invented the wheel to decide, we're going to put this on our luggage. And I did a little research just for fun because this is not just some knowledge that I had, but I'm like, when did they first put wheels on luggage? Because you remember growing up when you were a kid or your grandparents' luggage, they didn't have wheels. We just had to carry it, right?
Yes.
Back in the day when we were kids, we had to carry that 50 pounds without wheels, right?
Uphill.
So they first put the wheel on luggage in 1987.
Wow.
As far as it was actually a pilot that came up with this idea. Surprise, surprise. Now, back in the 70s, they put wheels on some luggage, but back in 87, they invented this the lower roller plate where you have the 2 wheels or the 4 wheels on luggage, and people started to travel more. Flying became more cost effective for people, so a lot more people started to fly through the 80s. And then in 87, this guy invented the wheels on the bottom of the luggage, and so that wasn't that long ago, right?
No.
We were easily teenagers and late teenagers when they first started putting wheels on luggage. So what a great invention for us. So we don't have to carry this through the airports and everywhere, having the wheels on the luggage here. So if you do have one of your grandparents' old styles of luggage, put that away and get the one with wheels. You're going to save your back, and you're going to save yourself a copay to the urgent care and doctor's office if you get some wheels on your luggage. So that's the first tip and trick. Make sure you're not using your old grandparents' luggage here. So what we have is I don't know what comedian who did this. They had a big box. They just pulled out their tips and tricks. It was like Carrot Top does this, or Gallagher.
Yes.
He always pulled out the Sledge-O-Matic, right?
Yeah, watermelon.
So let's talk about because you started to lead me into this. You started talking about flying, and a lot of people end up with neck pain in flying because what happens is you're flying and you're trying to get comfortable. You have a long flight. You take a nap, and all of a sudden your neck's crooked to the side, or even in a car. Your kids are in a car and their head's kind of tilted to one side or another. Just get one of these simple little neck pillows, and these aren't expensive. These are like $15 on Amazon, and you just snap that in there and you tighten it up. And what this does, it just gives you a little head balance, a little head cushion, so you don't have the bobblehead going on. So if you do fall asleep, which we do, you're sitting, this is your nap time, right? Maybe you're the passenger in the car and you're napping. Maybe you're in a fancy, self-driving car out in California now. I saw someone post that on Facebook today. But taking your naps and you want to avoid getting neck pain, get something supportive around your neck that is going to be comfortable for you. This is a memory foam, so it's nice and soft, so that when you are sleeping, it's going to give you a little cushion, just like you're sleeping in bed on a pillow. One of these nice neck pillows, and they're super inexpensive. I think this was like $15 on Amazon. I got so it's going to be something that's well worth your money to avoid neck pain from your travels. So that's one example I have. Another one, as I talk about, let's talk about this lumbar roll here. And a lot of these things you can get in my office, not the neck pillow, but you can get this lumbar roll in my office. And it's really inexpensive. And what this lumbar roll does is it helps to support your low back when you're sitting for long periods of time, especially. We talk about this a lot, and I've talked about this on the show before, when you're sitting at your desk, if you're a desk worker. So you're sitting for a period of time, and you want to support your low back. It helps to maintain that normal lumbar lordosis, is what we call it, in your low back. And all you do is you just put this on your chair. Just kind of stick it behind your back here, and just kind of rest in your low back area there, and it just kind of gives you a little extra cue. And you can see that I'm sitting up a little taller just by putting that in, right? Because my mic, I didn't change my mic stand, but all of a sudden I'm talking above my mic, where before in this chair, I'm kind of sitting down like this. So that's a good example. Just by putting this little lumbar roll back here, helps me to sit up taller, gets my lumbar normal curvature, back to where it needs to be. And it's a nice supportive piece of equipment that will help you for long drives. So I know a lot of cars have lumbar rolls in them. I mean, these are ergonomic chairs, right? These ergonomic chairs I'm sitting in right now have a lumbar support.
Now, how far back is that on your back? Is it all the way to the bottom of the chair itself? Or?
It's not all the way to my bottom. It's right, kind of like right at my belt line, I would say. So it's kind of just above my belt line there. So that just gives you a little extra support if you're driving your car, whether you're a driver or passenger. If you're in a plane, bring it with you because those plane seats can be, cumbersome and uncomfortable for long plane rides and things like that. But this is a really inexpensive. I think this is $16. Buy it at come into our clinic and purchase one of these, getting ready for your travels. But they're real, and they're soft. They're very comfortable. Obviously, you take the plastic off of it. This is one of the ones that we purchase in our clinic, so I have it in the plastic protective bag still. But this is a really nice option too to help out with preventing low back pain for long drives, long travels, long flights, and things like that. So both the neck pillow and the lumbar roll are really good for supporting your back and your neck to prevent spine pain and injury over the course of your travels. We'll go ahead and...
I admire your packing skills, too. You're a good packer.
Look at this, right? Yeah. Something else I like to recommend is a comfortable pillow. So, we've all stayed at hotels and they have those big, thick, giant pillows. They put like 10 in a bed and I need like a half of one of those pillows because they're so thick. They're too much, right? And we're also used to having our own pillows. Mm-hmm. So you're going to a hotel and, you don't have your own pillow with you. I recommend number one, if you have room, travel, bring your own pillow because your own pillow is what your body's used to. It's what your neck is used to for support. Those big hotel pillows, they're so uncomfortable. They're too big. You go to someone's house and they have pillows they supply, which is kind and nice, but they're just not your own pillow. It's firmer, it's soft, or whatever it is. It's not what your body's used to. So you're going to maybe develop some neck pain just from having a pillow that you're not used to having. I like this pillow because I'll just pull the case off.
That's a good width. It fits in a suitcase, first of all.
Yeah, and it's memory foam, so it's compact. Okay, but if you see here, you have a lower end here and a higher end here. So all of our bodies are a little bit different. And this is an ergonomic pillow because it has that curvature in it. Okay. Most pillows are just, flat, no matter which way you lay them, they're all the same. But this is nice because your head rests in the cradle. We'll call this the cradle part. And then you can turn it either way. So your neck can be here on this part and your head up here, or your neck can be this part and your head up here, depending on your neck design, right? All of our necks are designed a little bit differently. If you look at someone from the side, you can see some people have a little bit more forward head, some people have a little bit more upright posture, but that neck curvature is different a little bit. So you want to have this curvature supporting your neck here if you don't need as much, or here if you need a little bit more. And this cradle is really nice and comfortable, and it's memory foam, right? So like I said, it has some cushion. The weight of it's not like standing on. If I were to stand on this, it's compress all the way, but it's just the weight of your head. So your weight of your head cradles nice in this area with getting a little nice support either on this side or this side, depending on what you're ergonomically best for you. And I keep this pillow. This is not my personal pillow. I keep this one in my clinic, and the purpose of that is because people come in and they try it and they say, I need a new pillow, and I have them try this out so they can kind of see what their neck ergonomics, what their neck design is for if they need a smaller one or a bigger one, or they could get one like this that has both options there. But it gives them ability, number one, for someone that's currently having neck pain, number two, for someone that wants to prevent neck pain, a good supportive pillow that they can carry with them and have with their travels. So,
do you sell those at MRS Physical?
We do not sell these, but if you come into my clinic, you can try this pillow out, and I keep a cover on it all the time. Actually, I keep a plastic cover over it that I took off for demonstration purposes today, so you can kind of see the design. But I typically keep a plastic over this with a pillowcase over top, so people can try it out. You don't take it home with you, but you kind of just lay out in the clinic for a couple minutes and get a feel for how much support does my neck need, and we can help give you recommendations on that as well.
If you're listening at home, go to our Facebook page later and you'll see what Dale's talking about. There's a great demonstration. It's sort of you can get a good angle of the shape of that pillow insert, and I could see how that would really help your neck.
Yeah. So we talked. You talked a little bit about for long drives. What's some stretches you can do for long drives? And I do recommend that you get out about every hour and a half and take a stretch break. And the stretch break is super simple. So I'm just going to stand up and show you this stretch break. It's the super easiest stretch that you can do. So number one, when you get out of your car, you're going to walk into the service station, you'll probably use the bathroom, maybe get something to eat. So just that walking alone is helpful to get things moving. Okay, you're getting your whole body moving a little bit. You don't have to take a long walk, but kind of get the blood flowing. If you take frequent enough breaks, that's probably enough for you to get to your destination. But on top of that, I want you to try one stretch break, because this stretch break kind of reverses what you've been doing for the last 2 hours, hour and a half, is you've been sitting. Right, you've been sitting in your car, and you can do this in the airplane too. Just get up out of your seat when you go to the bathroom, because it's a super quick stretch. And all you do is you put your hands behind your hips and just extend back. And what you're doing is you're just reversing everything that's happened to you for sitting for that period of time. So you're helping to reverse.
I can feel that.
All that sitting, all that bend forward, and you're putting your hands behind you and just kind of extending back, and just hold that for about 5 or 10 seconds. And that 5 or 10 second hold actually helps the discs in your low back. So when you have low back pain, or if you have a disc that's become herniated, that's because of the pressure of sitting or standing over a long period of time. All that fluid in that disc is being pushed backward, being pushed posteriorly. And eventually, for some people, that disc can erupt, it breaks, it kind of pushes out like a jelly donut, pushes on your nerve. Those that have experienced sciatica and problems like that, that's what's happened. That disc fluid has protruded, it's herniated, it's pushed out, and it's putting pressure on the nerve. So what this simple stretch does is it reverses that. It gets that disc fluid pushing back anteriorly again, that's been pushed posteriorly from all that sitting time. So it's really simple. Hands behind your hips, like right at your belt line. Extend back and just hold that for about 5-10 seconds. And you can repeat that a couple times.
That just feels better doing
Yeah,
that.
do that like 3 to 5 times. And it's going to take you about 30 seconds to a minute. So that quick stretch break that you do with your walking around, going to the bathroom, it's just a really easy way to reverse everything that's been happening to your body over the last hour and a half, 2 hours of sitting.
A lot of it's just psychological. You're driving, you think, I can make it one more exit. You get to that exit, it doesn't have the sheets. I'll go to the next exit.
Right.
But
you should really
important.
take a break more frequently. And again, as I said earlier in the show, people don't hydrate enough because they're trying to make it there and trying not to go to the bathroom. But that's really taking a toll on your body when you do that to yourself, because hydration, proper nutrition, along with the proper sleep is so important.
Just have to kind of write it in your schedule. Okay, if it normally takes me 4 hours to get there, it's going to take 4 hours and 20 minutes. But I'm going to stop.
Taking a rest
times.
stop, it's 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is well worth your time if you're going to be feeling better when you get to your destination and not having to spend your vacation having neck pain and back pain and things like that.
And we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back and see what else you got in your suitcase. Join us, Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Jackson's Restaurant in Monaca has launched a new seasonal menu showcasing the best of autumn's harvest with fresh, locally sourced ingredients and inspired comfort food creations from a talented culinary team. Known for its upscale, casual atmosphere, Jackson's brings a cozy yet elevated twist to classic fall favorites like crab cake, meatloaf, truffle sage ravioli, English-style sea bass, and pasta with sautéed shrimp, crab, and a lobster cream sauce. To make reservations and discover the full menu, visit jacksonsbeavervalley.com or Jackson's Beaver on Instagram and Facebook.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Looking for a fun, flexible job opportunity? McDonald's has it. Full and part-time positions available. Get premium pay for those premium hours of opening or closing, plus insurance, 401k, tuition assistance, and more. Choose to work anywhere from 3 to 8 hours. Apply now at mchire.com.
Get ready for the 9th annual Holly Jolly Christmas Concert, December 6th at Hopewell High School. An all-star lineup including Bailey Taylor and the Holly Jolly Band with Joe Monroe, Danny Gotchnauer, Hermie Granati, and more will perform Christmas songs. The Holly Jolly Horn Section and Hopewell High School Drumline and Chorus will entertain too. Tickets cost $20 for adults, $5 for children 6 and older. Available at the B.F. Jones Library, the Medicine Shop, Friendly Federal Credit Union, and at the door. Proceeds benefit Hopewell School's music programs and the B.F. Jones Library. Come out and get jolly December 6th.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, your home for local news, information, and music. Brought to you by Fry Transportation. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, helping to make Beaver County a better place to live, work, and play.
What's your favorite Christmas memory? We all have our own. It's nice to remember those special times when Christmas was more magical than ever. Now those memories can win you a delicious box of chocolates, compliments of Rosalind's Candy Castle. Tune in to Beaver County Radio's Driving in the Fast Lane with Frank Sparks each Friday at 10 a.m. Share your favorite Christmas memory and you can win a delicious box of chocolates, compliments of Rosalind's Candy Castle right here on Beaver County Radio.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
We'll see some much-needed sunshine this afternoon with highs in the upper 40s and lows tonight of 32. Tomorrow, look for mostly cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain through the overnight. We'll see highs near 50 and lows of 41. And cloudy on Friday with a chance of rain throughout the day and evening. It will be mild temperature-wise, though, as we can expect to see highs in the mid-50s and lows around 40. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
9:34 a.m. We are back with Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy talking about the holidays and ways to stretch out, ways to hydrate, ways to feel good, look good, stay healthy. And Dale's about to use me as a model here, so if you want to go to Facebook, I'm going to hydrate first, but
Always hydrate first.
All right, I'm going to come over. So you're going to be on the mic. You're going to be on the mic here. So let our listeners and viewers know what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. So earlier in the show, we talked about this is healthy tips and tricks for travel. And when you're traveling somewhere, you're going to be in a bed that's not your own bed, no matter what, right? We know that already. Even if it's, you're going back to home to your parents and it's the bed that you had when you were a teenager, you've gotten used to this new bed that you have now. So the bed that you're going to, it's going to be a hotel bed. It's going to be a family guest room bed. It's going to be a pull-out couch or maybe just a couch. And a lot of people end up with back problems because they're sleeping on a surface their body's not used to sleeping on. The bed's harder than the normal surface. It's softer than the normal surface. It's just not the normal surface. So there is an increased likelihood of having low back issues because of that. I'm going to show you three really quick and simple stretches you can do to prevent low back pain, when you're sleeping on an abnormal surface. And these stretches that I'm going to show you, I personally do these twice a day. And so I do them before I fall asleep at night. I do them before I get out of bed in the morning because your body has adjusted to this bed surface. But the muscles, you might end up stressing the muscles out because they're just not used to the contour that this new bed surface, whether it's a too soft bed or too hard beds, had you in. So Scott's going to be our demo here. So Scott, I'm going to have you up on the table and he's going to get to enjoy my contoured pillow that I brought in with us today. So go ahead and lay in your back there, Scott.
My shirt matches the pillow. How about that?
Yeah. So Scott's got the contoured pillow. Just relax your head in that. Feel that nice cradle there and the support on your neck there, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I might fall asleep.
Okay. So three easy stretches for you to do at home. The one I always talk about to people is the hamstrings. The hamstrings are so important, right? So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna probably steal this mic here.
Yeah, it's on.
So we're going to show Scott a hamstring stretch. So I brought the stretch strap here today, and you can do this one with or without a stretch strap, but most people like using the stretch strap because it's a little bit better too. And I just put it around the toe. So it's around Scott's toe, and he's going to hold the other hand of the stretch strap with his hand. And so pull that towards you. So and put one hand on the knee. So that hand's going to keep the knee straight, and the other hand is on the stretch strap, pulling that foot back, okay? So you feel the stretch in the hammies?
I do.
Okay, so this is a great hamstring stretch, okay? If you don't have a stretch strap, I'm going to take this off for a second. Just put both hands around your knee, underneath. Yep. Pull that knee towards you. Yep. And then straighten your knee out from that position, okay? So that's now stretching the hamstring. So go ahead and keep your hands there, but bend the knee a little bit. So that's a relaxed, bend it more. So that's a relaxed position. The hamstrings are not unstretched. Now straighten out your knee as far as you can. And now that's stretching the hamstrings. And when you're doing a stretch, you want to hold it for about a 15 to 20 second hold. So I usually do a 15, 20 second hold 3 times on each leg to stretch out those hamstrings. Because hamstrings is usually one of the top culprits for affecting your back and having low back issues. When people have tight hamstrings and they sleep in a bed and the hamstrings just get tight from that uneven surface or a different kind of uncomfortable surface overnight. So that's the first one, stretching out your hamstrings. The second one is go ahead and bend both your knees. And I'm going to come back over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to cross your right foot over your left knee. Yep, and you're going to use that foot to pull your knee to the right. Yep, just like that. So this is stretching out a muscle in the low back called your quadratus lumborum. Exactly where Scott has his hand there. Like, oh, right there, right? That's your quadratus lumborum muscle that you felt right there. It also helps stretch the IT band a little bit, which is on your hip, the side of the leg. But really this stretch, I want to stretch out the quadratus lumborum muscle because that muscle is another muscle that becomes a low back pain culprit. 1 in 4 people over the age of 45 have low back tightness every day. So it's a really common thing. And when you're traveling and you're on a bed that's not your normal bed surface, stretching out that quadratus lumborum muscle is really effective and helpful for maintaining your limb flexibility and your low back flexibility. So again, it's a stretch. You're going to hold that for about a 15-20 second hold, and I would do about 3 or 4 on each side. So go ahead and switch and do the other foot. Yes, that leg, and then pull the other direction. And that, again, is stretching out your quadratus lumborum muscle, a little bit of your iliotibial band. But getting that low back muscle, that quadratus lumborum, there's a couple different ways to stretch it. This is probably the easiest, simplest one to do when you're somewhere and you don't have equipment and things like that. Then the third and last one, I'm going to position Scott over here. So swing your legs towards me a little bit so you're almost diagonal. Keep them down. Scoot your whole body this way toward. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then
For you too. Yeah, there you go.
okay. And pull this knee up towards your chest, and then drop this one over the side of the table there.
Oh.
Okay. Hold on to this with both your hands. So this is a hip flexor stretch. Can you get that left leg any further down?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So you want to, so he's feeling this in his hip flexors. So I talked about the hamstring being one of the top muscles. This is the other top muscle that causes low back pain and it's not flexible. If Scott was flexible enough, he should be able to get that left leg all the way down flat on that table there without having any strain.
It's got a leg cramp.
So here we go. We're getting some spasms, some leg cramps, some Charlie horses. And the reason why is because of lack of flexibility, number one. Also, I would say not having enough hydration could affect you getting leg cramps and things like that, or not enough potassium, bananas in your diet and things like that. And we talk to our patients about that too. But having that leg dangling off the edge, and you can do this off the side of a bed, off the side of a couch. I usually do it on the edge of the bed before I lay down, so you're lying, crossways on the bed versus long ways in the bed. Nope, you're doing just right. So you're pulling your right knee up towards your chest with your hands, and the left leg is dangling all the way off the table with the knee bent.
So I'm feeling that right the whole way up.
So you're getting a little stretch. Yeah, you're getting a stretch in the right leg at the same time. Yeah. So we're getting this is a multi-component stretch because you're getting the muscle, the legs that you have the hands on that you're pulling the knee up. You're getting that leg stretched out, but then the other side, the one that's down and dangling, that's stretching out your hip flexors there. So your hamstring flexibility and your hip flexibility are two key components of maintaining good low back health and flexibility, especially when you're traveling, you're on a bed surface that you're not comfortable with. So those are the 3 exercises, Scott. Thank you for the demonstration there.
Feel better. Feel stretched out.
And not only do you feel better, but now you know what to do to when you're home to keep your back in good health, get that flexibility. For your hips and your low back, your hamstrings, your hip flexors, and your quadratus lumborum muscle in the low back there. So those are great ones. All right, so we're going to continue on now. I'm going to grab my luggage bag of tricks.
You got to watch this on Facebook.
All right, so Carrot Top and Gallagher have nothing on me. Well, except some hair, but that's besides the point. All right, so things I personally travel with these things, and not because I need them, but these are my in case of I need them, because I've needed them in the past. If you've ever suffered with low back pain or have had low back issues in the past, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want to end up on your vacation that you're going to be on a week and having low back pain and like, what do I do? And you don't want to spend $100 going to urgent care, but bring some of your PT stuff with you. You can't bring me with you unless you're going somewhere nice. Then we could talk about it. We could probably come up with an agreement. If you're going to some tropical island, I'd be glad to come along with you. But some things that I typically bring along with me is a TENS unit. So a TENS unit is a transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, and this is a unit that's really good for low back pain. For anyone that's had used electrical current for low back pain, it's very comfortable. It's very small and compact. We do sell these in our clinic. It just has it's just a little tiny unit. This comes in a nice carry case, and this is the little TENS unit box. If you don't have enough room for the big box, then maybe just throw this in your suitcase.
Now, where would I find that?
So we do sell these at MRS. So we have these in both my clinics. These are $40, so they're very cost effective, and they're a very good, powerful unit. And they only use a 9-volt battery. You don't have to plug it in. It uses a 9-volt battery. So those are really nice to have with you if you do develop some low back issues while you're on vacation, because this will give you a nice pain relief without having to take a narcotic or anything like that. For those that have TENS units, we also sell these electrodes. So for those that have the TENS units, you'll know that these electrodes, they go bad after about a month or 2 months. They get, dust on them or dog hair, and then they lose their stickiness. And we sell new electrodes. So if you need to refurbish your electrodes, we do sell these new electrodes for very inexpensive cost at MRS Physical Therapy. So this is something else you can bring with you. So obviously you need the pads with your TENS unit, and then some TheraBand. So we do sell these packs of TheraBand. They have 5 different colors, and you get a pack of all 5 different colors for only $10, which is a really nice rate. We like to be very competitive with even Amazon, so our rates are pretty low. So this is a nice stretch band to work on some exercises. Maybe you have some shoulder pain or some neck pain, and you can work on different exercises like rowing exercises, strengthening exercises for your hips. So bring your TheraBand with you. Like I said, the pack that we sell have 5 different levels of resistance. The green is the medium level. It comes in easier levels and harder levels too, but you can bring your TheraBand with you.
If you're not watching, you're only on radio, that's kind of like a stretching device. It looks like a long ribbon, but it's got like tension, like a rubber band kind of thing.
It's like a gum band if you're in Pittsburgh, rubber band kind of thing.
What are those generically called? If I went into a store, or MRS Physical Therapy, what would I be asking for?
TheraBand.
TheraBand.
Yeah, okay. TheraBand. Trying to remember what else is in my suitcase here. Another thing you bring with you is the Stop Pain. So this is a really nice product. And I brought all 3 of how they come out because one is a roll-on, which some people like because they can roll it on without having to get the gunk on their hands and you can reach areas that they can't reach. One is the gel, which is nice. It's a top. These are all topicals. You just kind of put it on your hand and rub it on the body part that's aching. Maybe the elbow joint or knee joint that needs that, or your low back. And this one's nice. This is actually a spray that you can just spray on. Again, you don't have to get the gunk on your hands. You can kind of spray it on your low back, whatever the body part is that's irritating you. And the Stop Pain, it helps to decrease pain. It's as simple as that. We've been carrying this product at MRS Physical Therapy. We sell it there for $12, and we've been carrying it for about 6 or 7 years. It's a fairly new product, but we found it better than a lot of the other products that have been used for a long period of time. We used to carry the BioFreeze. This has twice the menthol, twice the power as BioFreeze. So we found it to be very effective. And we also have a product that I did not bring. It's for migraines, which you just kind of put a little dab behind your ear for people that get migraines, which, all of us get a little bit of headache when we're on these family Thanksgiving days, right? So maybe it's a good product for you if you get migraines, so it helps that side of things for you.
So back in years ago, we would have used like Bengay, the kind of product like that.
Yep,
and there's been improvements in science and how those work and that kind of product.
Yeah, you remember the old Bengay and Icy Hot that we used in my running days. That was a big product, but the Bengay is like that gloopy kind of, that
smelled awful.
That stuff that you put on your legs and stuff. It felt like it weighed extra weight to weigh you down. But these products are real nice. They're easy travel size for you as well. This is 3 fluid ounces, that meets the requirements for travel and things like that. So, so there's some great products that we recommend to help you out with low back pain,
I'm seeing a popularity
neck pain with your travels,
and like those Theragun type devices. Do you recommend those? Do you have?
Yeah, actually, we have those in our clinic that we use on patients as well. And those are, they're kind of on the expensive end, and they're not necessarily easy to travel because they have some weight to them. But they're a great product. I mean, you're spending maybe $100 to $200 for a good one. We don't sell those in our clinic, but all these other things we do sell. We sell the TENS units. We sell the extra pads for the TENS units. We sell the Stop Pain. We sell the TheraBands. We sell the stretch straps here, where the stretch strap is what you saw Scott use to stretch his hamstrings out. And we sell the lumbar rolls, which the lumbar roll is probably one of my favorites because it really has a great bang for the buck because it's only $16 and it really gives you good back support, When you put it behind your back in your chair, it helps you sit up taller, kind of gives you a little bit of a cue. It's not hard. It's cushiony. It's nice and comfortable. And it's great for the long car rides, long plane rides. And because it is really compact, it's easy to pack if you want to, put it in your suitcase and use it for later. It's a great product there. So.
You also talked about the importance of nutrition. I haven't forgotten. You've got an apple there and you've got a granola bar. Proactively, how does eating right and drinking right avoid things like muscle cramps and Charlie horses?
So hydration is really so important, and it's probably the most common thing I see people do wrong is they're not hydrating properly. And when they don't hydrate properly, meaning drinking water through the course of their day, then if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, right? So if you get to the point of like, man, I'm really thirsty, I need to stop, you've already dehydrated yourself. So, bring some water bottles. I always pack a cooler. I pack a cooler and put it in my car. So I have, my water bottles. I'm not against caffeinated, drinks because, sometimes that, helps give you a little bit of a perk when you need to get to your destination. But you need to modify it and you need to not have that as your only source of liquids. Make sure you're balancing it out with some water because the water really helps you stay hydrated.
And then the food itself, like you mentioned an apple or
yeah, something nutritious. I love the trail mixes. I'm a big trail mix guy, so I love getting the trail mixes. And actually, I brought some, but I left it in the car. I forgot it. But I had a nice one that has like omega-3s in it. It's nice for energy. And I like variety as well. I don't like just having the same thing. If I'm going on I had my class reunion last weekend. So it was a 5-hour drive to Philly, 5-hour drive back. I was by myself, so no one to talk to kind of thing. But I like how, I brought a variety of snacks, a couple different types of trail mixes, some different kinds of granola bars, my water. I brought some caffeine in case I started to get tired, on the roads, as my backup. But I never start with caffeine, it's always like my backup in case I need it. So I always start with my water. So I know my caffeine isn't going to be my primary source of hydration. I always have my water. I start with my water and then I have my caffeine just in case. Sometimes I don't need it. Sometimes I get through my 5-hour drive and I'm good to go. And that's great. But if I need it, if I'm like driving through the mountains and like, oh man, I just need that little caffeine, pick me up, then, I'll try that. But mostly, hydrating with water is your best option. But I like a variety of different snacks, apples, bananas, granola bars, trail mixes, things like that.
That Philly drive, there's a moment like near Lancaster where I kind of hit the wall.
Yeah.
You had the fun of the 3 tunnels you go through, the 4 tunnels, but then it just seems like
you're going through the mountains and that's like, oh, that was fun. But then you get to that point like, oh boy, yeah. I did that by myself. In 24 hours, I drove out on Saturday. We had our reunion Saturday night and I drove back on Sunday. So that's a lot in a short period of time, driving 10 hours in a 24-hour period of time. So, I definitely took my rest stops, rest breaks, using the lumbar roll, hydrating, snacks, and I was good. I did not like the hotel pillows. I hate the hotel pillows. That's one of my things. Like, why do they make these pillows like 3 times as thick as a regular pillow? I don't know why they do that, but but doing my stretches that helped me keep stay good, and I felt great. It was great. So great high school 40-year reunion, believe it or not. I hit my 40-year reunion. That was a great time. Upper Moreland Golden Bears. It was a great time. Great crowd of people. It was great seeing everybody. So
Bucks County, or where's that at?
Montgomery County.
Oh, okay.
Upper Moreland, Montgomery
County. I lived in King of Prussia for a year and a half.
Yeah, not far away. Yeah. So, but anyway, we got time still, right?
You sure do.
So we're going to talk about the luggage, right? We talked about carrying luggage and how, make sure you don't have your grandparents' old luggage without wheels. So the wheels have a great option. But when people hurt themselves, it's transporting the luggage, not using the wheels, but lifting it in and out of their car, lifting it in and out of the airplane, things like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about body mechanics for your luggage real quick here. So like I said, you saw my luggage. I opened it up. I have my bag of tricks in here. So this is not weighing that much right now. But, honestly, it doesn't take a lot of weight. I can't tell you how many patients tell me, they hurt their back. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? They're like, I picked up, a sock off the floor in my back. It doesn't take weight, okay? It takes proper body mechanics to prevent it. It takes bad body mechanics to cause it, okay? So the weight is a factor, but it's not always the factor that causes the issue of your back going out. So with that being said, this only weighs about, maybe 8 pounds right now with a little bit of things in it. But a lot of us are carrying luggage. It's probably 30, 40, you can get up to 50 pounds, if you're lifting something heavy. Your carry-ons are typically around 30 or 40 when you have them fully packed. But the problem is, you're lifting it up and then you have to stow it in that overhead compartment. And you're trying to squeeze it in there sometimes. There's other luggage and you're trying to make sure yours fits and you're kind of pushing it in.
And you feel rushed because there's people behind you. They're trying to push you out of the way.
That's a great point, right? People are like waiting in line, like, come on, get your luggage. And you feel like you have to get yours in and get your seat and get out of the way so the next person can go. I have that same kind of feeling sometimes, that feeling of rush. So a couple things. When you are lifting something up, you want to keep it close to your body. You don't want to reach it away from your body, because as soon as you reach it away from your body, you're exponentially increasing the amount of weight that you are transporting. So if I have a 5-pound weight and I'm lifting it up, even if I have a water bottle, that's nothing. But if I'm holding it here, I can hold it here for 3 hours, but I can't hold it out here for 3 hours, because now I'm putting that weight away from me, and it's causing all my muscles to work harder. My core has to work harder. Everything has to work harder. I'm exponentially increasing essentially the weight of that, because I have it away from my body. So keeping something close to your body. So that overhead, loading is a good example. So when you're overhead loading, you want to be as close as you can to, you don't want to be reaching far away like this and reaching out to load it overhead. Get up as close as you can. Just take one step forward. So you're essentially right at shoulder distance, to get it up overhead, and that's going to help you out as well. When you're lifting, and I know people know this and they hear it all the time, but bend your knees, lift with your legs, right? And why do we do that? Because when you have your knees straight and you're bending forward to lift something up, you're at a mechanical disadvantage. It puts your back in a mechanical disadvantage. It increases the likelihood of you injuring your back if you're not bending your knees, okay? Another thing with that is if you're tight with your hamstrings and you're reaching forward and you're pushing beyond your hamstring length, that's going to increase the stress in your low back as well. So that's another reason why you want to bend with your knees when you're lifting something up. And really, you're using your big, strong leg muscles as well, which helps to support your low back and your core. Okay.
You show the dynamics of how you lift the bag, because I see some people just grab both hands of the handle, but there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. But when you are bending over, your back muscles are strong too. They're not weak little muscles, but you want to use your legs to complement your back muscles. You don't want to just be relying on your back muscles to do the full load. You want your leg muscles, which are also very strong, which includes your glute muscles, which are nice and strong. So when you bend your knees and you're doing that, your glutes and your quads are helping out with that lifting. Okay, so. So that's a good example. So what you said, when you're lifting it up, you have this handle here. This handle is not to lift up like this, because you don't want that. You want to have your hands spread apart. So you don't want the load to be centralized. You want the load to be spread, right? So when you're lifting it up, you want to make sure that you're bending with your knees. So we're putting the luggage down, and then we're pulling it back up again, okay? So this is just one example. Okay, we're bending with our knees and we're going back up. And you can see you want to tighten up your core muscles here. And you're bending with your knees and you're coming back up. Okay? So, different luggage have, different placements of their handles. So, this luggage, for example, has, a hand on one side, handle here and a handle here. So if your luggage is wide like this, then I would be, lifting like this with one hand on either side, lifting it up. And make sure you're not pivoting. Make sure you're turning with your feet. So, for example, if you're loading your car up, you don't want to be picking up and hauling it like this. You don't want that trunk rotation. You want to pivot with your feet. So, if you can see, you want to pivot with your feet when you turn, okay? Just like you would in basketball, right? You have that pivot foot, okay? So, you want to be pivoting with your feet to load the luggage versus rotating. When you're rotating, it increases your likelihood of straining your back when you're doing that kind of motion. So make sure you're pivoting with your feet when you're loading that luggage, especially when you have a heavy load there.
Now, how about the load up and over your head into the carry-on bin? What do you recommend?
Yeah,
there?
So your carry-on bin is going to probably be in this position, right? Because this doesn't fit this way, it fits in this way. So you're going to have a hand on each side like this, and you do have this nice handle here on most of these pieces of luggage there, as well as on the other side. So you just lift that up. You might have to step back. You're going to be up, and then you're going to step forward before you reach it away from your body, okay? So you want to keep it close to your body, comes up, and you're going to step forward and then lift it in. You do not want to be back here and doing this. This exponentially increases the weight, and if your core is not tight and prepared for it, it's going to increase your likelihood of having low back pain.
Good. Now we have about 30 seconds left. Anything else important talking about travel and prepare?
MRS Physical Therapy and Cranberry Physical Therapy. If you want to check out any of our stuff here, you can come visit us. MRS Physical Therapy is right in the heart of Bridgewater, Stone Point Landing. If you want to give us a call there, that number is 724-728-7550. MRS Physical Therapy in Cranberry is called Cranberry Physical Therapy. Cranberry Physical Therapy is on Route 19, right next to North Park Lounge. That number is 724 591-8121. You can check out our webpage at mrsphysicaltherapy.com. If you want to send me an email, I answer emails. It's d.reckless@mrsphysicaltherapy.com as well. I'm happy to answer any emails, any questions you might have related to tips or tricks or anything else physical therapy related. Keep in mind, we take all insurances, and you do not need a script to come see us. You can come to see us. Call us up and come in for an evaluation. If you're having low back pain or you're concerned, you have travels coming up, and you're like, boy, I really want to avoid having any low back issues when I'm traveling or neck issues. What can I do to help that out? Just give me a call and we'll get you in for an evaluation and give you an exercise program for things you can do to help yourself out.
Excellent. As always, educational and entertaining at the same time. And if you missed any of that, it is on our Facebook page. Go to Beaver County Radio, WBVP, WNBA, or listen to the commercial I'm about to play. Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, Scott.
In a recent live broadcast,